G'day, welcome to another episode of Making Munch with Mike, or Mike's Making Munch, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. Today I'm cooking some lamb. Lamb. Delicious. Yeah, I've just been cleaning the fry pan because you've got to do a little bit of love and care for it every now and then. Basically, caring for this fry pan means like you rinse everything off it real good and then you burn some fat on, which is just olive oil. But look how much fat is on the edge of that lamb. It's thick. It's a lot of fat. So this is going to add more fat, which is ideal. So kind of to clean, going to cook some lamb. You can hear that I had it real hot, so I might just turn the heat off for now. I might not even need to put the heat back on because, like, to burn the oil on, you need to make it quite hot. Well, because first you got to dry it, and the way you dry it is by heating it, and then once it's all dry, like, it's quite hot to have just dried it by putting it on the hot plate. Yeah, and so now the lamb is on. And it smells like lamb. Lamb's delicious. Yeah. So this is a massive chunk of meat for today. But I don't have that much lamb that I can do this every day. I have 3 more pieces. So I'm gonna space those out. Otherwise I've got fish. I've got a bunch of fish. I don't know how much there is of that. And then I think maybe that's it. So I'll do some more fish later, but just decided to do lamb today. I think I've got 3 more pieces of lamb. I've done the turkey. Yeah, I'm working on like making sure I keep running down the freezer because the freezer just has a lot of stuff in it. Mainly pasta sauce. Every time we make pasta sauce, we make enough for like way too much because like there's a limit of, you know, a zucchini is an exact size. I'm not cooking half a zucchini. If I'm going to go all the effort of cooking, I'm cooking the whole zucchini. So, got a lot of pasta sauces in the fridge. Probably need to be making sure that we run those down a bit more, but oh well. Pasta's hard to come by. Not really. Pasta's pretty easy to come by now. I've got pasta the last few times I've been to the shop. Yeah. But we are eating pasta less often because we've been worried about not being able to get pasta, but now we're running down on rice. But we've got Miracle just out the front, so there's heaps of rice available to us. Lots of rice. In a secret room. Ooh. Weird little side room. I don't know why the shop is shaped like that, but there's a side room with rice and steamers. I want to get some steamers. Then I can do, well, I want to say then I can do like dumplings and stuff properly. But I'll do many offensive things with it. But yeah. So clean fry pan. Clean by adding more oil. Wild. Fun idea. See, I'm worried because I've frozen the lamb, so it'll last. Worried about like how much water then comes out of it. Because, see, just adding fat to the fry pan cleans it, but adding water makes it dirty. Which, it's kind of like it's weird rules of like, what is clean and dirty for this fry pan. Because normally like, yeah, water, that's how you clean stuff. But, that means then you get water on the iron, and then the iron will rust, and that makes it dirty. Whereas if you got fat, fat will not let it rust, and that makes it clean. Anyway, yeah. I'm worried about how much fat is here. I'm also worried about it getting too cold. Oh, nice. Sizzle, sizzle, rizzle, dizzle. Yeah, I've been doing an assignment this morning on a few laws in Deuteronomy. It's cracking stuff. Cracking stuff. One thing is you can't. Don't sow your vineyard with two kinds of seeds. And there's a lot of options for what that could mean. I'm a bit confused. My favourite at the moment is don't sow a crop in between your rows of vines. Yeah. Because, like, I've read a few commentaries this morning. Some people say they reckon they've used the word vineyard, but it could mean any kind of field because they've said crop. Some people are like, no, it means crop. So don't sow two kinds of crops between your grapes. Yeah. So there's a few wild options out there. But my favourite is that don't sow your vineyard with two kinds of things. So don't sow it with grapes and with wheat. Because that will make it... Oh, well, then there's more confusing things there. But basically, it will make it profane, unholy. Yeah. But it kind of... I feel like... Yeah, so some commentators were saying there's no reason for this law. It just is because it is. Some have tried to be like, oh, maybe this is a reason. Some people say that it makes it more efficient. Some people say it makes it less efficient. So there's disagreement as to whether it's better to have a field of only one crop or not. It's a bit random. Like, surely a farmer would know which is better. It just, in terms of like harvesting and stuff, I think, yeah, it makes so much more sense to have them separate. But then something was saying you'd use a bit less water if you do two together. They'll just overall you'll get more stuff out of it, and they'll share nutrients and things. So I'm like, oh, there's things that I can see why you would say there's some benefit to putting the crops together. Anyway, actually, like mixing the crops is a good illustration of being not holy, because holy just means separate and distinct and different. But when you mix two crops together, then they're not distinct and they're not separate, and so they're inappropriate. So I think a lot of the laws in the Old Testament, not all of them, like do not murder is not one of these, but a lot of the laws are just to kind of help explain the idea of sin and the idea of what it is to be unholy, to be unclean. Yeah. Which, things being mixed together is unholy. So Israel meant to be separate, distinct, different to the world around them. And because Christians take up the Old Testament, they take that up as their Bible as well. That means Christians are meant to be distinct and holy and different from the world. So in some ways it's kind of confusing when there's all this like, why are Christians trying to push this idea? Well, actually no, Christians are trying to be distinct. But not in a bad way. Not like a rebel without a cause. Trying to be distinct and holy and like God and serve God and love God when people don't love God. I think it's good to love God. So I'm happy to be holy, different, weird. I think weird is a good idea of what holiness means. Although the ways in which I am weird don't often equate with holiness. They're just a bit odd. People would say more than just a bit odd, but anyway. Well, this is just about cooked. So I think that's been it. That's been making munch with Mike. I cleaned my fry pan and I cooked some lamb. And I talked about holiness. Wow. Anyway, have a good one. I'll catch you tomorrow.